Penguin Random House Audio presents Kills Well with Others by Deanna Raybourn. Read for you by Jane Oppenheimer and Christina Delane.
To all of you who took these killers to your hearts and wanted to see them kill again, thank you.
Author's Note. Authors are liars. Some of what you'll read here is true, some of it isn't. You'll have to figure out which is which for yourself.
Chapter 1. April 1982. Billie, you have a run in your stocking. Again. Helen's voice is cool as she hands over an unopened package of fishnets. Have my spares. Billie has been in this position before and knows better than to argue with Helen's eye for detail. Just like the last time, Billie says with a grin. She changes stockings and shimmies back into her costume. I think I'm going to have to burn my feminist card when this is done, Billie says as she tweaks her bunny ears in the mirror. 3 months of working undercover at the Playboy Club, and her blue satin ears are still a constant source of irritation. Mary Alice, sitting next to her in the dressing room, purses her mouth as she flicks black eyeliner into a sharp wing. She moves back, admiring the effect. I kind of like it. That's because you don't need to stuff your damned bra, Natalie counters from the other side of the room. The lower half of the corseted costumes are altered to slim the waist, elongating the legs and making the hips appear fuller. But the cups only come in 34 or 36D, forcing most of the bunnies to augment their curves with whatever is lying around, gym socks, fresh maxi pads. Billie needs only a powder puff of a bunny tail in each cup, while Helen requires a rolled gym sock, and Natalie needs 3 pairs of pantyhose. Mary Alice, whose resemblance to Marilyn Monroe has been deliberately heightened by lightening her hair with a platinum rinse, is the only one of the 4 whose seams have had to be reinforced. Makeup finished, she stands, straightening the little starched collar and cuffs that finish off the uniform. Like everything else in the club, the costumes, witty and modern 20 years before, are now seedy and tired. The club has been refurbished in an attempt to make it relevant again, but a long decade has passed since it was anything but tacky. The veneer of forced, flirty fun is wearing thin, and they are tired of smiling at the same jokes, ignoring the same worn-out come-ons. For 3 months they have carried drinks and sold cigarettes and checked coats. Every shift they have come prepared, ready to carry out their mission, and every shift they have clocked out with aching feet and a rising rage that they have to repeat the cycle all over again. Billie hardly remembers a time she wasn't schlepping drinks with a perky smile. Their current target is the nephew of a Toronto gangster, heir apparent to his uncle's crew. The gangster is happy with his protection racket and gambling, but the nephew is ambitious, pushing the gang into drugs and underage prostitution. He likes violence for its own sake, and his plan is to expand into Chicago, upsetting the status quo. The old man visits Chicago every few months, and he brings the nephew with him, making the rounds of his connections, renewing contacts, smoothing the way for the succession. In his prime, he was a key holder, dining at the club every night, harassing the girls and paying off the bouncers to look the other way. He's trained the nephew well. The younger man grins as they make their way to the table and he sees a new server approaching. This one has ash-blonde hair brushing her shoulders, a mouth with a tiny scar just above the top lip, and an ass he'd like to get to know better. He drops a casual hand to her hip as she takes the drink order and watches her reaction. She's good. She almost masks the flinch, but not completely. And this is the part he likes best. When they realize he can touch them, and there's nothing they can do about it. He relaxes back into his chair and bobs his head to the music as the server slips out of his grasp and heads to the bar to put in the order. She's got a small smile set on her lips, and so he has no idea what she's really thinking. It's only when she turns her back that the smile drops. Mary Alice slides up to Billie after Billie relates the order to the bartender. "How's our boy?" Mary Alice asks. "Peachy. He copped a feel and smells like a bottle of Dracar Noir threw up on him," Billie tells her. "Just once. I'd like to kill a gentleman."
"If they were gentlemen, they probably wouldn't need killing."
Mary Alice puts in her own order and turns to scan the room. It's a slow night, with less than half of the tables occupied. To make it seem like the place is swinging, the music has been turned up and the lights down. Olivia Newton-John is blaring from the speakers, wanting to get physical. Near the entrance, Helen is working the coat check. Her job is to remove the EpiPen that the nephew's bodyguard carries in his overcoat, substituting it with the one they've prepared specially. According to the dossier they've received, the nephew is highly allergic to peanuts. The plan is to induce an allergy attack, mild enough not to kill, but severe enough to require the EpiPen. Instead of epinephrine, the pen he will use has been loaded with a mixture of Versed and potassium chloride, a cocktail that will stop his heart almost instantly, mimicking the heart attack that could follow severe anaphylactic shock. Traces of peanut oil will be present in his stomach, and the death will be certified as natural causes after accidental ingestion of an allergen. The plan is elegant in its simplicity, but it requires perfect preparation and timing from every member of the team. Both trays of drinks land at the same time, and Mary Alice takes hers. As she leaves, Billie catches Helen's eye at the coat check counter. With her dark hair and Jackie O posture, Helen is the most patrician of the group. On her, the satin costume looks almost classy, and it occurs to Billie the nephew would never have dared to grab Helen's ass. Helen touches her left cheek with a fingertip, the signal that the switch has happened. Billie turns back just as Natalie joins her at the bar. Without taking her eyes off the bartender as she relates her order, Natalie passes a hand over Billie's tray, pouring the contents of a tiny vial into one of the drinks, a lurid-looking grasshopper. Her gift for sleight of hand is so good, not even Billie, who is watching closely, sees the moment she adulterates the drink. Billie glances down to see the shreds of dark chocolate that garnish the drink are glistening with unrefined peanut oil. Billie hoists the tray with a sense of elation, the same sort of buzz actors feel after months of rehearsal when the curtain is about to rise on opening night. This hit has been too long in the making. They anticipated finishing it in 6 weeks, but it's been double that. Twice she's had to make a phone call she dreaded, postponing a trip to Bermuda with a man she needs to see again. Taverner. An image of him as she last saw him springs to mind. Sheets bunched around his hips, sleepy smile, and open arms beckoning her back to bed for so long she misses her train. She shoves the memory away. She can't afford distractions now, and the sooner she kills this man, the sooner she can get back to that one. She approaches the table and performs the trademark move of the servers, a dip that calls for her to gracefully bend at the knees instead of the waist. It requires a slight back bend, putting stress on the knees, but the move prevents a wardrobe malfunction. Billie serves the other 2 gentlemen at the table first. She doesn't recognize them from the dossier, but they are hanging on the nephew's every word as he tells a joke, a filthy one that Billie has heard at least 7 times since coming to work at the club. The uncle is beaming at his nephew, a chip off a particularly nasty block. She deliberately leaves the grasshopper for last, as much to enjoy the anticipation as to make sure it is delivered perfectly. Just as she moves to set it in front of the nephew, he reaches the punchline and throws his hands wide, catching her arm. The grasshopper goes flying, the sticky green liquid hitting her squarely in the chest. It drips into her costume, and the nephew, initially irritated at the loss of his drink, makes a vulgar suggestion as to how to clean it up. Billie gives him a tight smile and apologizes, promising
Sample complete. Ready to continue?